Hey guys, welcome back. It's grimreaper coming you for another video for Shadows. Hopefully doing well, and hopefully you're looking after yourself and on a positive start to the week, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you're doing well. Damn, what a day it has been for me. The last 3 days I have been grinding non-stop of faction wars. We've had Ogre tribes back to back on the Friday, now on the Sunday, and yesterday I was doing Silver Watchers. And I'm trying to complete hard faction wars, which has been quite tough and challenging. Now in the future I will make a full video once I break down and have a time to plan the video and talk about faction wars in a really big level, and what things that I did to make my life easier, and the champions that really stood out to me for the faction, for like challenges, etc. However, I don't know when this video is going to be released, because this time recording will be on a Sunday of 18th of October, which I'll be dropping this video when Ogre Tribes goes live, so it could be 7 or 10 days, I'm not too sure, but generally to drop this in the morning of the UK so people can have watched this and hopefully help them progress in this. Now I am doing faction war takeovers available. We'll also do coaches sessions as well. Coaches sessions can be earned for free via Twitch, or you can be a membership to the channel through the YouTube, and I can set some up on Discord for coaching. And if you need anything else, then like takeovers, etc., we can talk on Discord. My link is down in the description. But it's been quite difficult content, sorry. And today I just beat the boss, so probably after this I'm hoping to take down the last 2 stars, because I haven't done 3 vs 3 yet. I'm hoping to take the last 2 stars here. We took 2 stars on 21. I beat all the bosses, and then I'll have to do the weak hits challenge on Silver Watchers. All the screenshots I'm using for the teams are actually in my Discord in the faction war side, so you can go ahead and check that out as well. It's been quite an adventure for sure. Let's do a full breakdown of the team and what's working and what's what. Now, this is a team that we're using. You can see here that there is 2 fusion champions and 2 epics. My roster for this faction is not great. Like, for example, I'm missing like a lot of good legendaries in this faction, and it's quite depressing. So you can see here all of void legendaries, which are really good. This guy is amazing, by the way. But I think the whole unit as a team is the carry, and I think GHRUSH actually was the biggest carry for me, especially with the crushing ram. I think without the crushing ram I'm not completing this faction, if I'm going to be honest, unless I use a cat gaze, which is probably the best option to replace. So you can see here I'm missing all of the voids. All the void legendaries are really good for this, and I've done takeovers already with these void legendaries, so I'm talking from experience, not just talking out my ass, more or less. So and also another thing as well with this faction, this is the only faction where I'm actually really lacking for guardian factions as well, and as well as Silver Watchers. So we're really struggling over there. So I'm missing like resistance and accuracy, defense and speed, which are really important. So this was quite challenging. Anyway, let me explain the team and the breakdown. Obviously, there will be timestamps down below, so guys can skip this. Hopefully not, because it's good information. So let me go into the team, and then I'll explain the kits. Not the kits, I'll explain why they're being geared. Now, I've geared this faction completely different from the rest of my gear. So you can see here, I've got 1 bolster set, obviously offer me some protection. We got Hugo going first. This is mainly to counter the boss and to mainly counter champion unity, and Jingwood offer me the decreased defense, offering me the block buffs so I can CC, etc. We have next will be the Iron Gut that will go next. So Iron Gut is going to offer me the increased defense and the provoke to allow GHRUSH to do more damage. You can see here we've got 2 sets of stone skin as well to counter stuff here. Then we just have him coming in last, so he's going to be like a turn meter boost, cleanser, add shields, heals, and also brings an increased duration buff, because we're actually relying on the resistance buff to beat the boss, and we'll talk about that shortly as well. And then obviously we have some extra poisons and Stoke coming in as a damage dealer, the poisons, but also offering the continuous heals to keep my team fresh, as well as GHRUSH also bringing that. So that's kind of displaying the gear sets. Now GHRUSH is in a stone skin, 4-piece stone skin, 4-piece lethal to counter the champion unity, and that is why it's there. Now you could do this without, but you're relying on crazy RNG, and with the stone skin it's the only way to block the true fit. That is the only way. This is the first faction I've actually used stone skin on stage 21. I've used stone skin on like the hegemon waves, etc., on like high elves, etc., when there wasn't cleansers available. I'd rather use the cleansers when there is one available. So let's do a full breakdown of the team. Now I need to make sure to turn off the sound because there's probably a lot of bad words there, so we don't want to make sure we do that. This wave was very easy, to be honest. Like, it wasn't very challenging. To be honest, it was mainly just not killing it too fast, which was my my issue. So I wanted the weak hits to land here, so we have time to get GHRUSH's AoE to get the increased defense back from him, and also to get the block buffs back down. So we needed him on cooldown on his A3, we needed GHRUSH on cooldown on one of his AoEs, and then we need Yugo on cooldown for the defense down and block buffs, and then still not to weak hit the champion unity, because what we're trying to do is just one-shot him basically on the second wave. So you'll see here we're coming with some shenanigans, trying to do our stuff. Now you want Brewdog to be the slowest, by the way, because it's going to be quite important against the boss. And then we will do our shenanigans. So you can see here, I'm thinking, just doing A1 there. And then we'll do a damage. So you'll see here, I'll do a single damage so we can work on cooldowns. We have to kill this boss within 200 turns to get the 3 stars, right? So as long as you don't get unlucky or weak hits, you should generally be fine. So you can see again, we're working on that. We're trying to protect our debuffs as much as possible as well with the 9-piece protection set on him as well, because in case of 3%, etc. So you see there, we do weak hit, unfortunately. Brewdog's going to bring the cooldowns, which is so cool to have, but it's just so random. You can't obviously have it targeting a certain champion, which would be cool if you could. So we don't want to use any CC. Like, we're pretty confident we beat this. We just got to wait until it goes down. The GHRUSH takes it down on E1. And then this is where the challenges start. So there's a reason why we're in Stone Skin, etc. Is generally because of this wave here. We need to take out champion unity very fast, or he's just going to completely dominate you. I don't have a reviver in this team. Yes, I'm aware that Yugo has a revive, but it's very too situational to rely on. So I don't use her as a reviver. She just has good utility against the boss, etc. So we can see here, we'll drop the defense down, etc., which is going to be cool. Then we'll bring the increased defense for GHRUSH to do more damage. So you can see here, we're going to do damage and more damage. Now, Jingwood's going to try and put block buffs. That's why we have block debuffs on him, because he cleanses with his passive every time we provoke, and there's nothing we can do about that. We need the increased defense of GHRUSH to get an increase on his damage. So we're trying to set him up nicely. You can see here we're starting to get feared, so you can't resist it or anything like that, which is a shame. And now we need to one-shot his boss, the champion unity. If you don't one-shot him there, then reset, go again, because obviously this is just going to be an absolute RNG, a nightmare. Now I've seen GHRUSH one-shot the whole wave here, and you can see here, I don't think the Helm Smasher is procced, because we've got 179,000 damage, and then we've got 264 ignore defense, 271 ignore defense, 274 ignore defense, and 200. So that's just over 1 million damage from GHRUSH as a +2 6-star awakening. Now, Cushion Rim can be a carry, and I'll be honest, if you have a 6-star Cushion Rim available, even with champions that don't hit hard, then consider using it, because it is so important in its endgame content, not just in Faction Wars, but in Curse City, etc. as well. So you can see there, we do take some damage, but you can see that Brewdog is going to bring some utility in. It's still a little bit hazy, so we still have our work to cut out. So we will do our shenanigans. We're trying to now get our cooldowns back again for the boss because we need Iron Guts A3 to be available. We need Yugo's A2 to be available, and generally his A3, which is the buff increase, to be available as well, which is probably the most important. The rest don't need to worry too much. So you'll see here, I'm kind of thinking what to do because like I've been so close and I don't want to screw it up. We're going to do the A1 here because we want to work on cooldowns again. We are pretty safe. We might take a bit more damage, but we can heal it up, etc. So that's going to be quite useful. So we can go here. I did used to have Yugo in Bolsa and Stone Skin, but I was able to separate it this time, which is cool. Okay, so now we have this. So Yugo needs to go first because she will bring defense down, which allows you to do all the damage, more damage to the ads, obviously, and she also brings block buffs. Now, this ad here, if I'm not mistaken, please let me know down in the comments, does a block damage and increase accuracy, and this ad here does a block buffs and increase resistance buff. I might be wrong on that, but there's a lot going on with Faction Wars. Now, there is a passive on this boss that does more damage, and like poisontivity explosions, the more poisons, etc. that you do, the more damage you take. And that is what's screwing me on this. So you need to take down the ads first, ideally putting block buffs up. I actually get resisted on this. And then we also bringing in the resistance buff here on Iron Gut. So he has a lot of utility on the boss, which allow me to resist the poisons and burns and the explosion most of the time. Now, I did make a mistake. I should have built accuracy on GHRUSH as well to land a decrease accuracy, which I didn't build, which also would have helped with the damage mitigation. However, we have so much healing in here, then it's quite useful. Now, Stoke has the poison relic, which just adds a little bit more damage to the boss. So the faster you can get rid of him, the better it's to be. He also brings good utilities in reflex and impulse, so he's going to be able to recycle through the Termite on A2, but also bring them poisons way more with the continuous heals way more as well. We're also using 9-piece protection on him, on Iron Gut, to make sure that we don't get 3%ed, or try to bring down the 3% as much as possible. So that is what generally was the strategy here, was to generally try to do that. You can see here we actually got resisted on the block boss, which absolute sucks because it kind of counters the strategy a little bit, but we're generally still fine overall. So you see here we're increasing the duration of the resistance buff through Brewdog, and also Iron Gut also increases the resistance buff and also the increased defense, which helps with survivability and the continuous heals as well. So we have 2 increase buff durations or buff extensions, which is quite important. Now again, he doesn't have accuracy, so we didn't really worry about it, but you can see the damage there is really good. Okay, so she has block damage or resistance up, and then everyone has accuracy up and block buff. So I got it the wrong way around, sorry, my bad. So yeah, anyway, that is that. We have also got enemy max HP, so he has got 100% critical rate, just so he can again get the damage down. So we have like 2 secondary damage dealers, but also having GHRUSH as the main damage dealer, the main Vavavoom in there. But if you've got enemy max HP, just put 100% critical rate. You can put some critical damage in and stuff, but yeah, you can see how hard GHRUSH hits there with the right strategy, with the defense down, etc. So yeah, work on the ads. You can probably auto this, to be honest, after this, like once I do the presets. I think once you do this, you auto and just click on the ads, which I'll probably try and do for next week. But I just really want to get this boss down. I hate Faction Wars. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't enjoy Faction Wars. I just want to make sure this content's done before the new content drops in Christmas, so to avoid burnout and not have too much to do on my account, to be honest. We've got 320 coming on that A1 on the ad. And now because all of the stuff has gone down, the resistance up really hurts us, and he's also got accuracy up, so he's going to land some poisons, etc. on us. He also has a buff duration on his kit, so he's able to decrease our buffs, etc., which is also really annoying. And you can see he also has poison sensitivity, which increases the poison damage that we take. However, we should be alright. Well, we are alright. This is going to be super powerful. Just watch all these poisons come off. Now, Brewdog was actually built with 530 resistance without the resistance buff. I'll be honest, you only need to build about 300 resistance for the boss. But we was able to build like way more, so I just pushed that all the way up so we can just make sure that he doesn't die, basically. He's also got impulse. Now the gear sets on his account is not very easy to copy, but this is super in-game content. If you haven't maxed out the Great Hall for Faction Wars already, you will need to max out. You need 22,000 and 500 medals to max out from Live Arena. So yeah, early again, big smack there from the A3. And you can just see here, we are now obliterating the boss. You can see that Stoke is adding some damage with a poison relic. Shame we can't use the lethal Ingdosed here because poisons would be way easier. And I still think Faction Wars is way overtuned, to be honest. You got Hugo bringing in the leech as well on E1, which is quite useful. GHRUSH also brings leech if you can bring some accuracy in there. But to be honest, I just wanted full damage on him because the champion unity was screwing me pretty hard. It's took me ages to figure out, but we figured this out like a few weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago when I wouldn't start it, I knew what we had to do was talk about stream. And then someone gave me a recommendation on Joe Berry. And then I kind of took it from there, worked on it. I've been working on his masteries bit by bit between events. For the Titan event, etc. To do that, right? So that was pretty cool. And you can see there, GHRUSH is going to finish off the boss. And we do take the 3 stars there. So you can see Stoke coming in with 400, 945, which is poison damage. We can see plenty of heals going on there as well. We have Iron Gut bringing in 1 million damage as well, which he can do way more. If let's be honest, if he had Crush and Rem, this guy would probably just destroy his faction. His A1 is godlike multiplier. Because we don't have Crush and Rem, or he doesn't have Cat Gaze, he's kind of lacking there. I only have 3 on my account, and I actually didn't use any of my crazy relics for this faction other than the Death Dealer for weak hits. So you've got GHRUSH here as well coming in with 6.5 million damage, which is pretty cool. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to play the full run on a 2x run, so you guys can break it down, slow it down, and do what you need to do with some music. And then we'll come back and I'll show you all of the gear after that. So enjoy. Okay then, so I do have one recommendation which I haven't tested, but I will say this: if you don't have this guy, if you can build a full team with 550 resistance, you don't need the resistance buff, right? Maneater does bring block buffs, and he does bring killables, so I think he's probably a next budget option for this strategy. I think the problem with this faction is getting to the boss, and not so much of getting to the boss, and not so much actually beating the boss itself, right? So the wave 2 is probably the hard bit, which is why I had to condition my team to be utility around everything. Deal with wave 1, wave 2, and the boss, which was the challenging part of raid, and as well as the RNG, right? So let's start with the builds. We have 9-piece protection. Do you need 9-piece protection? Probably not, but you will need the resistance, etc. So you could go in bolster or merciless or whatever. So you can see here, accuracy is required for the provoke. Here's your CC for the waves, etc. Right? So you have 484. Now resistance needs to be 260 with the resistance buff, and so I was trying to aim for 300. The critical damage is a bonus, but you don't need critical damage, and provoke the 100% critical rate is also a bonus. Now 330 speed's fine. We have Stoke in the lead as well for speed aura, which is really useful. So it makes me around about 350 speed more or less. And then you need good defense and then good HP for survivability. Of course, that is that. So this is a very gear intensive 9-piece set for sure. And if you're watching this, you probably have a bigger blessing than me anyway. So that's one thing you can also work on. There is some improvement that could be done. We have the blessing molten death bow here just to help me with accuracy requirement for this, and then a cruelty level 1 blessing. For me, there isn't many blessings you take in factuals. And then these are the masteries. So again, you can still go eagle eye, or you can go the resistance mastery, unshakable, depending on them. I was able to come in with some damage masteries, which is great for me, which is a bonus, is not required to just make sure run slower. We did do it within plenty of turns as well. I think it was like 97 turns or something. So he is the second fastest. The fastest was Yugo, which is in a 4-piece stone skin. She was coming in with a whopping 336 speeds. So we wanted to be the fastest. Good defense, good HP, good accuracy, and then again just enough resistance for that. And then with the Stoke, we are at 336. Now I don't actually need the Stoke speed aura, around about same speeds. I think starting off around about 325 is perfectly useful, because I think our bias, if I'm not mistaken, is 325. So you could build everyone faster and then not rely on the Tommy to boost, because champion unity is going to rip you apart otherwise. But Stone Skin's just generally in there because of the champion unity, but to be honest, I don't think it was needed that much for this, because I did change the gear of the team the last time I faced it. And then these are the masteries again. You can go eagle eye or unshakable. We've got War Master, it's just useful, really old masteries, right? So I think then the third fastest was Stoke, if I'm not mistaken. He's just in reflex and impulse to give me the continuous heals as much as possible, and give me turn me to fill as well. You can do the activity as well, which is great for the poisons, etc. A little bit of brimstone there as well for the boss. Now for Yugo, there is no relic. For him, we are using the poison relic. So there's only 3 relics being used. All of them are rare relics. So again, you can beef it up with like cat gaze or whatever you got on your account if you're struggling for damage and you want to speed it up. So let's have a look at his stats then. For his stats, we're calling it 315 speed, good defense, good HP, reasonable resistance to get that resistance up, and then good accuracy as well. Accuracy is only needed at 475. For masteries, these are the masteries, just eagle eye and then some damage mitigation stuff on that, and then support is pretty much self-explanatory. And then we have GHRUSH coming in as the 4th fastest. He's going to be the damage dealer in his comp. So we really want high defense, good speed, good critical rate. You can see insane critical damage, which I won't deny. Accuracy, again, it's lacking a little bit, but if you want to start adding some utility there, you're just going to take away from his damage, which I think makes your life harder against a champion Unity. You're more than welcome to try and let me know if that works for you. The defense is only coming in at 6,985, which is pretty low. We got good HP as well, probably because the gear is just not perfect, right? So we can still get a bit more accuracy and defense there. We've got critical damage there and a defense ring. That defense ring absolute sucks eggs. We have speed on the boots, defense chest, and then critical damage there. These are the Marius gloves that I have on my account, which are absolutely god tier. And then these are the gear come across there. I've been playing this game a very long time, so my gear is very good, obviously. And then for the relic, as you're happy to see, is a rare relic. So even at my level, I'm not feeding all of the rare relics that I'm getting from that. So rare relics can really help you. They're a lot cheaper to move around your account than using legendary relics, etc. I'm actually not really moving them around. I'm just kind of upgrading them. As you can see, I'll have a bunch of these around my account ready to go. Which is quite good. So I do have like a ton of mythical relics, and I've barely been using them because it's just too expensive. But you can see I've been using the mythic tan in like a more team, and you can see there is a few here as well. You can see there is a lot of Molten Death Bells ready to go as well. So yeah, that's kind of the way to go in that area in that respect. And then obviously if you got 6-star, Crucial Rem. If you haven't got the 6-star, Cruelty. Right, or you can go natural wrath if you build some accuracy. You could try coronet as well, that could be useful, but you'd have to test them. These are the masteries as well, and there is a way for me to go there. And then the final champion, which was Brewdog, is in the bolster set. So if you can build some accuracy to increase the duration on the boss, that would be cool. I actually forgot about that, won't lie. But you can see here we've got resistance, we got speed, defense, and HP. That's the only thing, the 4 stats I was focused on. That is it. Not much to this. You can see there is impulse set with the bolster as well. No relic. So again, if you're struggling for the accuracy or whatever, or resistance, then that is that. I haven't built accuracy, but you can build accuracy for the increased duration on the enemies, right? Which again, I didn't really bring them in for that. I just brought him for the buff increase duration with the turn meter, and then I brought him in for the cleanse as well, which was quite useful. And then A1's quite good as well. Just went Falling with Wrath was exercise ability. Just wanted to put a blessing armor. I had a lot of cruelty already. And then these are the masteries that he has overall. So there you are, guys. There is Ogre Tribes 21. I've now completed all the bosses. And if you want to see any of the bosses and the rest of the teams, all of the videos are in the playlist, which I'll ping at the end of this video towards this. And you can go check out my playlist for Hard Faction Wars. Hopefully you enjoy this type of content. Let me know down in the comments, are you guys enjoying Hard Faction Wars or not? I know the Mythical is not really a good champion or really worth going for, but I do want a collector before the new content is dropped at Christmas time with the 8 new bosses, if it's P vs E or P vs P. And it won't surprise me if you actually need her to progress in that content as well, to try and trap you to do this. So it's one of the ones. They do this a lot. Anyway, that is it for me today. As usual, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I've been Grim. I'll see you next one. Take care. Peace.